Imagine this: every morning you wake up and find $86,400 deposited into your bank account. It's yours to spend, but there's one catch: whatever you don't use is gone forever. No saving it, no carrying it over to the next day. How would you spend it? Would you let it slip through your fingers, or would you cherish every dollar, making sure it went towards something meaningful? Now let me tell you something: life gives you 86,400 seconds every single day. The question is, how are you spending them? Time is the one thing we can never get back. You can lose money and you can earn it back. You can lose possessions and you can replace them. But once a second, a minute, or a day is gone, it's gone forever. This is why time is so much more valuable than we realize. But the truth is, most of us live as if we're going to be here forever. We waste time on things that don't matter, scrolling endlessly on our phones, caught up in drama, worrying about what others think, or waiting for someday to do what we've always dreamed of. But let me ask you, if you wouldn't burn money, why are you wasting your time? Think about it: time is what life is made of. Every moment you waste is a piece of your life you'll never get back. Yet we treat it like it's infinite, like we'll always have more. But the reality is, none of us know how much time we have left. Maybe that's what makes it so precious. Imagine living each day as if you had only one more. Imagine choosing to spend your seconds on things that truly matter: your passions, your loved ones, your dreams. What kind of life would that create for you? But here's the thing: understanding the value of time isn't just about avoiding waste, it's about embracing the present. The past is gone, and the future hasn't arrived yet. The only time you can ever truly experience is right now. So instead of regretting what you didn't do yesterday or worrying about tomorrow, ask yourself, what can I do with this moment? Because this moment is a gift, and it's the only one you're guaranteed. The truth is, life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away. So how do you want to spend your moments? Will you let them slip away, or will you choose to make them count? You don't have to make a grand gesture or change the world in a day. Just start small. Call someone you love. Take a step toward that dream you've been putting off. Do something that lights you up inside. Because when you look back on your life, you won't remember the hours you wasted. You'll remember the time you truly lived. Make your moments matter, because once they're gone, they're gone. Spend them wisely, spend them fully. Spend them like they're the most valuable thing in the world, because they are. Every single day we are bombarded with distractions. Notifications ping, screens flicker, people demand our attention, and the world pulls us in 100 different directions. It's so easy to lose sight of what truly matters. But let me ask you this: at the end of your life, when you're sitting in that quiet moment reflecting on it all, what will you remember? What will you remember? What will stand out? There won't be the hours you spent scrolling through your phone, or the endless nights worrying about what other people thought of you. It will be the moments of connection, the memories of love, the times you pursued what set your soul on fire. Life is short, but it's not just about how long we live, it's about what we live for. Too often, we give our time and energy to things that don't fill us up, things that don't add value to our lives. We say yes to obligations that don't align with our values. We chase goals that society tells us are important, rather than the ones our hearts whisper to us in the stillness. But here's the truth: not everything deserves your time. Not every battle needs to be fought. Not every invitation needs to be accepted. And not every opinion needs your energy. The more you focus on what doesn't matter, the less time you have for what does. Think about the people you love. When was the last time you truly connected with them without distractions? When was the last time you sat down to talk, not just out of obligation, but because you wanted to understand their world? Think about the dreams you've set aside because life got in the way. What would your life look like if you made those things your priority? What if, instead of spreading yourself thin, you poured yourself fully into the things that light you up? What kind of impact could you have? What kind of joy could you experience? Focusing on what truly matters means you stop living on autopilot. It means you wake up every day and ask yourself, what will matter 10 years from now? What will matter when I'm gone? And then you let those answers guide your decisions. It's not always easy. It takes courage to say no to the noise and yes to what matters. It takes clarity to let go of the superficial and embrace the meaningful. But when you do, you'll find that your life starts to change. Suddenly the days feel fuller, richer, more alive. You're not just existing, you're living. So here's my challenge to you today, right now. Choose one thing that matters. Maybe it's calling someone you've been meaning to reconnect with. Maybe it's taking the first step toward that dream you've buried. Maybe it's just being fully present in this moment. Whatever it is, make it count. Because when you focus on what truly matters, your life begins to reflect that focus. And in the end, isn't that what life is all about? Take a deep breath. Feel the air fill your lungs. Exhale. Do you feel that? That's the present moment. It's the only thing that's real, the only time you truly have. Yet, most of us live as if life is some distant horizon, as if happiness is a destination we'll get to someday. We replay the past like a broken record, reliving mistakes and regrets, or we obsess over the future, worrying about things that may never happen. But while we're doing that, life is happening right here, right now, and we're missing it. We're so busy rushing from one thing to the next, scrolling through screens, or chasing goals that we forget to just be. We forget that the past is a memory and the future is a dream. The only moment that's real is this one. And if you're not fully present in it, you're not fully alive. Think about it. How often do we let precious moments slip by because we're distracted? How often do we sit with someone we love but aren't truly there? Our minds wandering somewhere else. Nature has a way of teaching us about the present moment. Look at a tree. It's not worrying about how tall it'll grow tomorrow, regretting the branch it lost last year. It's simply existing, fully alive in the here and now. Animals don't sit around regretting the hunt they missed or stressing about tomorrow's meal. They live in the moment, and because of that, they experience life as it is, not as it was or as it might be. The irony is that we spend so much time worrying about the future because we want to be happy. Yet the only place we can ever experience happiness is in the present. You can't laugh tomorrow. You can't feel love yesterday. These things can only be felt now. The more we anchor ourselves in the present, the more alive we feel, the more we connect with others, and the more we experience the richness of life. But being present isn't always easy. Our minds are like untrained puppies, constantly wandering. It takes practice to bring them back, to remind ourselves to be here now. That's why mindfulness is so powerful. It's not just about meditation or sitting quietly. It's about learning to fully show up for your life. Whether you're washing dishes, walking in the park, or having a conversation, bring your attention to the moment. Notice the sensations, the sounds, the colors. Notice your breath. These little acts of presence are what make life extraordinary. So let me ask you this: how much of your life have you already missed, waiting for a perfect future or stuck in an unchangeable past? And how much more will you miss if you don't stop and pay attention? The present moment is a gift. It's why we call it the present. Don't waste it. Show up for it. Because this moment right here is where life happens. And it's waiting for you. Every single one of us has the same 24 hours in a day. It doesn't matter who you are, rich or poor, young or old, time treats us all the same. The difference is how we use it. Are you clear about where your time is going? Or are you letting it slip away, scattered across countless tasks, distractions, and obligations? The truth is, if you don't know what you're aiming for, you'll never hit the target. That's why priorities matter. That's why goals matter. Without them, we drift. But with them, we have purpose. Let me break it down. Every action you take, every minute you spend is like planting a seed. What kind of seeds are you planting? Are they seeds of growth, passion, and progress? Or are they seeds of regret, procrastination, and wasted potential? Because here's the thing: whatever you plant today is what you'll harvest tomorrow. If you want a life full of abundance, happiness, and fulfillment, you need to be intentional about what you're planting right now. Setting goals isn't just about achievement, it's about alignment. It's about aligning your time with your values. Ask yourself what really matters to me. What are the things I'll look back on and be proud of? What are the dreams I've been too scared or too distracted to chase? Once you have those answers, let them guide you. Let them determine how you spend your days. Because every yes you give to one thing is a no to something else. And if you're not saying yes to your dreams, you're saying no to them. But don't make the mistake of thinking you have to conquer the world in a day. Progress isn't about taking giant leaps. It's about taking small, consistent steps in the right direction. It's about choosing one thing today that moves you closer to your goal, and then doing it again tomorrow and the next day. Over time, those small steps add up to big changes. Over time, they add up to a life you're proud of. Now, let's talk about distractions. They're everywhere: social media, emails, endless notifications pulling at your attention. It's easy to get caught up in the urgent and forget the important. But here's the truth, what's urgent isn't always what matters. Learning to prioritize means learning to say no to the things that don't serve your higher purpose. It means guarding your time like the treasure it is. So today, take a moment to get clear. What do you really want out of life? What's one small step you can take to move closer to it? Write it down. Commit to it. Because when your time aligns with your goals, when your actions reflect your priorities, life starts to feel different. It feels meaningful. And that's what we're all here for, to live a life that means something. The clock is ticking. Use your time wisely. You're worth it. Let's be real for a second. How many times have you caught yourself saying, I'll do it later? Maybe it's starting that project, making that call, hitting the gym, or following that dream. Procrastination sneaks in so quietly, whispering lies like, there's plenty of time. Or you can always do it tomorrow, but here's the truth nobody likes to hear. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed. All we have is today, this moment. And every time you push something off for later, you're gambling with the most valuable resource you'll ever have, your time. Procrastination is the thief of dreams. It doesn't just steal your time, it steals your potential, your opportunities, your growth. And the worst part, it disguises itself as comfort. It tells you to stay in bed a little longer, to relax instead of starting, to wait until you feel ready. But let me tell you something, you'll never feel 100% ready. That perfect moment you're waiting for doesn't exist. The stars won't magically align. Progress doesn't come from perfection, it comes from starting, messy and imperfect as it may be. I think about the things you've been putting off. Maybe it's a goal you've had for years, something you've dreamed about but never quite made a priority. Or maybe it's a simple task, something small that's been lingering on your to-do list. Whatever it is, ask yourself, why haven't I started? Fear of failure? Fear of success? Whatever the reason, know this fear fades the moment you take action. The longer you wait, the bigger it feels. But the second you take that first step, you take your power back. Procrastination doesn't just cost you time, it costs you peace of mind. Think about the weight you carry when you know there's something you should be doing but aren't. That nagging feeling, that little voice in the back of your head, it drains you. The funny thing is, starting is almost always easier than we imagine. The hardest part is getting out of our own way. So how do you beat procrastination? You start small. Don't focus on climbing the entire mountain, focus on the first step. If you're writing a book, write one sentence. If you're cleaning your house, start with one room. If you're chasing a dream, take the tiniest step toward it today. Momentum builds quickly, but it can only start with action. Here's what I want you to take away. Every time you choose action over procrastination, you're rewriting your story. You're proving to yourself that you're capable, that your dreams are worth it, that your time is too precious to waste. And the more you act, the easier it gets. Soon, procrastination isn't a habit anymore, progress is. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop letting later rob you of what could be yours today. The time to start is now. Your future self will thank you. And more importantly, you'll thank yourself for choosing to live fully right now. Let me ask you something. How many times have you said yes to something you didn't really want to do? How often have you sacrificed your time, your energy, your peace of mind, just because you couldn't say no? It happens to all of us. We agree to things out of obligation, out of fear of disappointing others, or simply because it feels easier in the moment. But every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your values, your goals, or your priorities, you're actually saying no to yourself. Your time is sacred. It's the one thing you can never get back. Every minute you spend on something unimportant is a minute you'll never be able to invest in what truly matters. Think about that for a moment. How often do we fill our days with commitments that leave us drained, stretched thin, and out of alignment with the life we actually want to live? It's not selfish to protect your time, it's necessary. Because if you don't, no one else will. Learning to say no isn't about being rude or inconsiderate. It's about recognizing that your time is limited, and you have to choose wisely how to spend it. Saying no to what doesn't matter creates space for what does. It's about understanding that every yes has a cost. When you say yes to something that doesn't serve you, you're taking time away from your dreams, your family, your passions, and your purpose. But I get it, saying no is hard, it's uncomfortable. It can feel like you're letting people down or missing out on opportunities. But here's the truth, the people who truly value you will understand. And those who don't, their opinions aren't worth sacrificing your well-being for. Every no is a boundary, and boundaries are what protect your peace, your energy, and your ability to show up fully for the things that matter most. So how do you do it? Start by getting clear on your priorities. What are the things in your life that truly deserve your time and attention? Once you know what those are, let them guide your decisions. When someone asks for your time, ask yourself, does this align with my priorities? Will this bring me closer to the life I want to live? If the answer is no, then give yourself permission to say it. Politely, firmly, and without guilt. Remember, every time you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you're saying yes to yourself. You're saying yes to your dreams, your goals, your peace of mind. And that's not selfish, that's self-respect. So the next time you're faced with a decision, don't be afraid to choose yourself. Because your time is your life. And when you protect it, when you value it, you create a life that's not just busy, but meaningful. Say yes to what matters and no to what doesn't. Because at the end of the day, your time is the most precious thing you have. Use it wisely.